Protesters in more than 100 cities around the world are sending a single message to Iran's leaders: free the protesters. As you can see, the only continent free of demonstrations today, Antarctica. The group United for Iran wants an end to the crackdown on people disputing Iran's controversial presidential election. Protests have been taking place in major cities from Melbourne to Amsterdam. A big rally is going on right now in New York. Reza Sayeh is covering it and joins us now to bring us the atmosphere and what the goal is. Hi, Reza.
Hi, Rolitza. New York City seeing a lot of green on this Saturday in this rally in March in support of the opposition movement in Iran. Let's go ahead and take a look at the scene behind us. This is about 1,000 people who've gathered here in this rally. Just about 2 hours ago, these people were in Times Square where there was a rally there, and they marched through the streets of New York, and now they're here in front of the UN. This particular rally in New York, part of what's being called a global day of action. Rallies taking place all across the country in nearly 100 cities, Berlin, New Delhi, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and also Amsterdam, where one of our reporters shot video of Nobel Peace Laureate Shirin Ebadi. She's one of the sponsors of this global day of action. Also today, a call for the hundreds of detainees taken into custody by Iranian authorities to be released by this particular group. Now, why does this matter? Why should the world care about the elections in Iran and the unrest that followed? Here is preeminent historian and Iran expert Hamid Dabashi and his thoughts.
Particularly in the United States, this is a civil rights movement. And look at what happened with Skip Gates in Cambridge, Massachusetts. The question of civil liberties continues to be relevant throughout the globe. And what the Iranians are doing in 2009 is what Americans did in 1950s and 1960s, which resulted in presidency of Obama in 2009. So in my judgment, when Americans see a reflection of their own civil rights movement in other countries, which is beyond ideological and is opening up a new moral map in the region, I think it's something to look for.
Dabashi and many Middle East experts also agree that Iran is very crucial to U.S. foreign policy. If there is to be stabilization in Afghanistan, Iraq, if there is to be a resolution in the Palestinian-Israeli conflict, certainly Iran is going to play a key role. Of course, the Iranian government launched a fierce crackdown on protests inside Iran, but that hasn't stopped many people from rallying and demonstrating outside of the country. They're hoping today that what they're doing here will energize the movement inside of Iran. Rolitza?
Reza, there's also another view on the impact inside Iran. Could it also backfire?
Well, there's always the accusations in Iran of foreign meddling. That's why this group has gone out of its way of saying, look, we don't want to meddle in politics. All we're doing is calling for human rights of Iranians. We want the detainees to be released. And the reason why they're here in front of the UN is they want to apply pressure on the UN and the Obama administration to do something. But you can be sure that despite those statements, despite that attempt of clarification, Iran's leadership is going to use this as another example of foreign meddling. Rolitza?
And Reza, how was all this put together? How did the idea came about to coordinate 100 cities around the world?
The idea came about through an Iranian-American mother in San Francisco. She basically called her friends, called some human rights groups, and it began as a grassroots movement. I spoke to one person just about 30 minutes ago. He's in New York City. He said he created a Facebook page, and next thing you know, members are joining it, and they had a group of their own. So a grassroots movement that's grown into this particular rally in New York City and nearly 100 other throughout the world.